Sagan could not have predicted. Tell us back then.
Ashton Forbes, you know, that super jacked guy.
Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night. Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
Even as these grainy satellite images released today by the Chinese government.
Again, the Malaysia flight too was one shot at China saying knock it off.
Why shoot it down though if it's not hostile?
Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space.
Why the Americans would?
They leave distance annihilated.
This country is very powerful. Far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world. Not even close.
I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should be his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
We all thought that. We all thought that Lulu was going to come sit on the couch, chat. We all thought that at one point in time. Gave her a treat. Immediately jumped down, chat. She just doesn't like being on stage. She's got stage fright, chat. Thank you so much for being with me here tonight. Number one thing I've noticed is all the real human beings in the chat. These are real people that are all interested in 0-point energy. They're all interested in science, but they're also all interested in mystery. And they're all interested in finding the truth about this UFO phenomenon that's been going around. Whether or not it's bullshit, whether or not there's aliens flying around, whether or not the aliens are probing us. Please remember, keep the aliens safe from sick humans that want to have sex with them. Now, number one thing, chat. My cape shit superhero has died. Saddest thing in the world. And you know what? I'm kind of just done with Ashton villain arc. From now on, it's wholesome Chungus Ashton who doesn't swear. No cussing. Ooh. No, it hurts my ears. Who is perfectly reasonable with everyone, chat. So here you go. Wholesome Chungus arc is beginning right now. We'll see how long we can last. R.I.P. Magneto, chat. Okay. Let's get to some content, though. Let's get to what you got here. You came here for. 0-point energy. I've got some insights for you. Wholesome new Chungus Ashton has some insights for you. He's going to teach your mind, get your power levels up. Okay, everybody? Now, I was reading this book by Tom Valone because he told y'all you need to read it. 0-point energy. This is the one that we need to check out. And it started getting weird really quickly. Now, I want to just read a couple short passages from it and things that I learned from it that we already kind of knew. So you may say, Ashton, what's the 0-point energy? 0-point energy is the energy all around us everywhere. It's the secret to physics that, I don't know, everybody kind of should have figured out. For some reason, it's me telling you on YouTube right now. That's the world we live in. It's a messed up ass place. I can't really explain it. I'm doing my best. So this magical space juice, as we like to call it, that's the official, I think they call that in the textbooks, in the science textbooks, they call it space juice. This space juice can be used as free energy, and it can also be used as propulsion. So this book starts off with, of course, the definition of space juice coming from quantum mechanics. Nothing's ever really stopped. But then there's some interesting points. There's more energy in empty space, the vacuum of space, than per unit self. Infinite. Then there's infinite amount of energy. If you believe there's some sort of cutoff, I think Richard Feynman took the size of the proton which is still pretty big, but small relatively, of course, it's still like 100 orders of magnitude. It still essentially fills up the whole screen. So you can make the strong argument that the space juice, the 0-point energy, you can make the strong argument that the space juice is more plentiful in the universe than even all the matter is. Just trying to make sure that we're good. Here, are we still good? I've never been interrupted like that. Okay, we'll keep going. Sorry for the people who are listening to the recording. The other thing to keep in mind, oh, it's muted. Okay, hold on. Yeah, reload the page, guys. Reboot page, reload page. I'll tell you guys. I think it might be something related to YouTube. Guys, are you good in Rumble chat? Someone give me a thumbs up if you can hear me correctly. Okay, once you reload the page. Sorry, Deep State's here, chat. Deep State does not like 0-point energy talk, chat, and I got good 0-point energy talk for you tonight. Let's keep going. The other thing to keep in mind, and this is just still classic physics, even the classic physics view, an atom is mostly empty space. It's mostly empty space. It's like 99% empty space. So that means, wait a minute, if I'm just made up of atoms and atoms are mostly empty space, then what even really are we? We're just a whole bunch of fields that are being connected and held together. Another key takeaway was the positron. The positron is admittedly by everybody just a backwards electron. Time reversed electron, I guess, would be one way to interpret it. And this is exactly what Paul Dirac predicted. Paul Dirac said there should be these negative energy states that are trapped. We don't see the negative energy. Why don't we see this negative energy? Because, like I said, this ocean of energy is all around us everywhere, and it's equilibrium. It's filled up. So when Paul Dirac's saying these energy states are all filled up, that's the same interpretation. That's the same interpretation. He's explaining the ether through a different contextual model. He's saying, well, if you look at it from these electrons are actually just filling up all the negative energy states. But if you're able to pluck them out, then you can get a negative energy state. And I go, wait a minute, isn't that just like plucking like water out of the ocean of energy to create the negative energy state? Then yes. Okay, are we still good, guys, in the YouTube channel? Just trying to make sure. See, a lot of people are saying there's still problems. Hit F5 if you are still struggling with the stream. Guys, I'm not muted. Okay. Next thing, the Dirac quote. Thank you guys for confirming. In here, there's a specific quote related to Dirac. And so I called up Tom Valone, and I had to ask him some questions about this as well. I want to answer some of those for you guys. It talks about the ground state of the hydrogen atom sustained by 0-point energy. And there is a picture of Palpatine, who I just literally saw comments about in the chat. The ground state of the hydrogen atom being stabilized by 0-point energy. Okay, here it is. This is the one I was looking for. This is a quote from Paul Dirac. Now, with quantum mechanics, we cannot exclude transitions from positive energy states to negative energy states. And that means we cannot exclude negative energy states from our theory. If we cannot exclude them, we must find a method of physical interpretation by adopting a new picture of the vacuum. Chat, you can tell he was a goat. We're only a couple sentences in. Previously, people have thought of the vacuum as a region of space that is completely empty, a region of space that does not contain anything at all. Now we must adopt a new picture. We may say that the vacuum is a region of space where we have the lowest possible energy. This is what people do say right now. Now, to get the lowest, we must fill up all the states of negative energy. The more electrons we can put into states of negative energy, the lower total energy becomes. Because each electron in a state of negative energy means a reduction in the total energy. Thus, we must set up a new picture of the vacuum in which all the negative energy states are occupied and all the positive energy states are unoccupied. We have to flip it around. Wow. You listen to that and you go, people are saying there wasn't an ether? How are people saying there's not an ether? Every single one of the original physicists and engineers didn't just believe in it. They could physically explain why it's real and needs to be real, needs to be true. That's crazy to me. And then what gets really crazy when he's talking about atoms don't collapse. This is the most important part about 0 point. How do you prove to somebody that 0 point energy is real, physical, and mathematically true and undeniable? The ground state of the hydrogen atom. This is so essential. There's a flaw. There's a flaw in classical physics interpretation. If classical physics is true and everything's little particles flying around, then that means little atoms are little universes or little solar systems with planets flying around them as the electrons. That's the scale we're talking about. But if that's true, since everything in motion must obey thermodynamics, that means those must be either perpetual motion machines, atoms. Every atom needs to be a perpetual motion machine that doesn't lose energy ever for any reason, or it must be extracting energy somewhere. There must be another source. It must be losing energy and it must be gaining it somehow. That is foundational. Why? Because the classic physicists don't believe in perpetual motion. Perpetual motion is impossible to them because of thermodynamics. So what is it? There has to be an answer. There must be a physical answer to everything in this world. Richard Feynman would fucking love me for saying this on stream right now. None of the other physicists are going to say this or explain this problem. Well, what have I said about it? One of the first things I realized is this is what Hal Puthoff was trying to get at. Is that we can, how do we figure out what negative energy is and use it to make a warp drive, use it to make a wormhole, use it to make a weapon, use it to make free energy. And one of this other scientists, engineers, whatever you want to call them, actually, do I have a thing from, I think I have a clip that I found that was extremely similar. I do. Was Randall Mills.
Equation is equals mc squared equals c cubed over 4 pi g. So the matter converts into energy according to that relationship, and space-time expands as matter converts into energy. So if you add up the 400 billion galaxies, 400 billion stars per galaxy, and 5 billion kilograms of matter into energy on average, it gives you the Hubble constant. So what it says is, as light becomes matter, if you want to have the constant speed of light in all frames, given that a light comes in, a particle leaves the event, and a gravitational field front goes out, even on the scale of a particle, for the speed of light to be the same in all frames, then space-time has to contract by c cubed over 4 pi g. And the particle leaves at its gravitational velocity. So
okay, so anyway, I don't know if this is true or not, but point being, that's Randall Mills. And point being, Randall Mills started this company, Brilliant Light Power, And his theory of his hydrino is a lower energy state, a fractionalized energy state, which is not thought to exist because you can only have whole numbers in quantum mechanics, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But here comes Randall Mills and says, no, we can get a lower energy state than 1. We can get it to a half. There are stable hydrogen states where we can get it, shrink it. And I'm going, wait a minute. Hal Puthoff's saying the way we get negative energy, we can shrink this electron orbital. And this is what this guy is saying too. Exact same thing. They're saying the same thing. So I've emailed Randall Mills and I don't know. Let's just say I get abrasiveness as a response from him, but at least he responds. So let me read this. It is now generally understood that ZPE, zero-point energy, is fundamentally responsible for atomic stability. When I spoke to Dr. Hal Puthoff, this is Tom Valone writing this, guys, by the way. This is for you, Tom. Just kidding, Tom. I love you. When I spoke to Dr. Hal Puthoff from the Institute of Advanced Studies in Texas, he described plans for measuring the electron levels of a hydrogen atom while it's in a Casimir cavity. He proposed years ago that ZPE determines the ground state of hydrogen. Now he finally has access to the facilities to test his theory in a Casimir cavity, which restricts the range of frequencies of ZPE around the hydrogen atom. Do I have the Casimir cavity? Yeah, here we go.
Thanks to a dedicated team of professionals at the University of Colorado at Boulder, in 2023, Professor Garrett Modell and his team designed and built a test device measuring only a few hundred nanometers, which was able to produce a considerable amount of energy directly from the zero-point field, or better stated, the quantum fluctuations of the so-called vacuum.
I'm just going to keep reading. According to Puthoff, this will show depressed or lower electron energy levels as a result or loss of vacuum fluctuation activity that normally supports each level. Reference, see Professor Modell, ZPE test. And then it says, it is similar to Dr. Randall Mills' hydrino. This is the part where I looked at the book and I said, what year was this written? Why am I reading something about a microchip that I just showed you in 2023? This is the microchip being referenced that Dr. Hal Puthoff is referencing here. How do I know that? Because I called up Tom Valone and asked him, what the hell is he talking about right here? What's he talking about when he says Dr. Hal Puthoff's going to test the Casimir cavity and test his theory? I said, I never saw any results. And he said, oh, he's talking about Garrett Modell's Casimir cavity microchip. The one that I'm staring at on my screen right now? Yes, that very one. We've been over the target since the beginning, since we didn't even know we were over the target. I just assumed Hal Puthoff was some sort of like, I just thought he was a friend of Garrett Modell. I didn't realize this is like directly connected to him in this way. Wow. Wow. Let's continue watching the clip.
In the last 2 years, his team has built thousands of successful test devices. In fact, a single unit is able to produce 70 watts per square meter, whilst a quad array unit is able to produce 280 watts per square meter. This is a big deal because it's a major breakthrough in energy production. With a few basic calculations, it is not hard to see that a stacked array would be able to power a great deal of mini devices.
Okay, I think I'm remembering that I get like a copyright strike for this because of some weird background sound. So I'm not going to play the rest of this, but you get the point. Free energy microchip. Hal Puthoff is apparently directly involved in it, and only found that out from this connection to this book. Something else I want to point out in the summary of the intro or whatever about zero-point energies, my suggestion is for the civilian scientists and entrepreneurs to grab hold of the opportunity. Share it with overseas colleagues and get it to the market before the military declares it classified. Okay, Tom. This is the best strategy, tested and proven by inventor Ken Shoulders. For a few years, his discovery of electron charge clusters with estimates of several times over unity was ranked number 2 on the National Critical Issues list, just under stealth bombers. Ken told me when the officer arrived at his door with the classification papers, Ken told him it was too late because he had already sent it overseas in the form of a hardcover book. It worked so well, the officer was extremely angry as he had to retreat in defeat. Ken Shoulders. You know him? Guy that worked with Hal Puthoff on charge clusters. Now we can just call it cold fusion, cool fusion, if you will. Where, what did they find out in those electron charge clusters? What was the core claim that Ken Shoulders made? He could reduce the Coulomb barrier. He could reduce the Coulomb barrier. He said he saw charges that were clustering together at densities that shouldn't be possible unless they're reducing the Coulomb barrier. Do you think that's classified? Yeah, I think the CIA might mute my stream again, frankly. That's how classified I think it is. Also, this is the part where I started to wonder, like, am I a time traveler? Am I a time traveler that becomes Tom Valone or Bob Lazar? Like, I'm kind of starting to, like, seriously consider it. I was thinking it was kind of crazy before. It is still, like, really crazy, but I've said this on, like, 50 podcasts. 50 podcasts I go on. I talk about the electron charge clusters were number 2 and number 3. This is a reference directly to Lynn McTaggart's book, The Field. Why is he saying all the same things? I'm going, this is, what year was this? There's no way this can be from 2007. He can't have written this in 2007. Weird, man. Weird. Anyway, there's a lot more in here. I definitely recommend checking this out. I am going to get the Tom Valone interview. We got his new upgraded equipment, so hopefully we have nice quality for the interview. So, I'm going to give you some spice, though, because I called him up and we chatted for a little bit. I'm trying to save all the good, juicy stuff for the live stream. Yeah, nobody reads this shit. It's crazy. Nobody reads this but me. So, I guess that's what my job is here. So I asked him about a few people. I already told you about Randall Mills. He didn't get any further with Randall Mills than I did. I asked about Mark Millis of NASA from the JPP. And he said he was kind of a jerk to him as well. Some of these people are hiding this. Mark Millis was kind of a jerk to me, and I think he might be one of the people that's partially hiding this. Who else did I ask about? Oh, and then the last thing here, in the book here, and you guys are probably you can shame me for this, chat. I don't know this lore. I should. Supposedly it was Edward Teller that connected Bob Lazar to Area 51. Someone tell me this was debunked somehow, like credibly debunked. Don't be like, well, no, that can't possibly be true. Why would Edward Teller? It's true. Edward Teller was really the one that connected him, because I called him up and I said, "Is that true?" He said, "Yeah, it's in the documentary that was released, the Bob Lazar documentary." I'm like, huh, how did I never notice that? Maybe I just never realized the significance of Edward Teller, because now I'm saying Edward Teller is the one that handed down the keys to Hal Puthoff. So if that's a claim that has actually been out there all this time, that increases Bob Lazar's credibility in my book significantly. Okay, if Lue Reviews debunked it, then it's almost certainly true. That means what happened to this guy? Is he still alive? Is that guy still alive? I hope so, man. I hope his acting career is taking off. I really do. Great actor. Saw him. I think he played the part as an extra in A Clerk where he gets shot on a TV show or something. Great acting. Okay, guys, let's do what you're really here for. Actually, you know what? No, more science. No, you know what? You wanted drama. You came here for drama. You came here because you're mad because you think I'm getting paid $7K because of Candace Owens. By the way, if you still think that like Israel killed Charlie Kirk or something like that, come on, man. This is the last train. This is the last boat leaving the island, the radioactive island. Get off the ship. Come to freedom. Orbs are here, chat. We have orbs. I know you were deceived by the succubus, the Jezebel known as Candace Owens. She told you that the Jews are everything that's responsible in your life, and that, oh, they must have taken out Charlie Kirk. But I got to be honest. She's probably going to get caught out here in the next day or two as having had the video of Tyler Robinson taking the shot. She had the video the whole time, guys. Which most people say there's no way. She's the one promoting all the conspiracies, and she had the video that the court hasn't released of him taking the shot the whole time. And here's the best part. She seemingly is releasing it to get ahead of it because she sees that things are collapsing around her. So she released it and was like, this proves me right. We're like, what? Like, this is the video that is going to get used to fry Tyler Robinson. What do you mean this proves you right? But the best part is this. So if you're someone who hates Candace Owens, listen up. Listen up, because this isn't personal against her. I can't stand what this bullshit she's doing. I want it to go away. That's really only my personal interest. Here's how you defeat Candace Owens. If she has that video of him on the roof, which she does, because she just showed a 30-second clip of it, well, the Fed slop says that he assembled the rifle on the roof. He put the scope on top of the rifle on the roof using the screwdriver that was found. So it's pretty likely that the footage Candace has includes an edited out part where you can see somebody putting a rifle together on the roof. Now, what's crazy about this is if that's true, there's no way anyone can say she's not a grifter. It's not possible. Why? Because she's been saying it was an exploding microphone, and she's sitting on footage, potentially, of a guy putting the rifle together right before he shoots Charlie Kirk. Hiding evidence from people that changes the story completely is not investigating. Have I ever done that? Can you imagine? I'm like, guys, there's a third MH370 video. I hid it this whole time. Why'd I hide it? I was waiting to catch them out. There's a third video, and turns out when you look right, there you see it. Mount Fuji. There it is. It's Mount Fuji. Third video, Mount Fuji is right there, chat. It turned out Jonas was right. Those pictures were taken in Japan. It was all a big hoax. Imagine if I'm hiding a third video that clearly shows that it's Japan. That's the equivalent of what she's doing right now. Okay, let's get serious. You guys take this out of me, chat. All you have to do is not support schizo shit, and this won't happen. Science now. Eric Lerner. It's going to be short. Plasma. This is my other thing. Orbs and goblets. Orbs and free energy. That's my things. What do you need to know about plasma fusion? Okay, dum-dums, listen up. Fusion, a neutronic fusion, which is like fusion on Super Saiyan fusion, chat, SSJ, and dense plasma focus. Those are the only things you need to know. Okay, and now all you have to do is watch and listen. Use your eyeballs. Use your ears. Where is he? Shout out to William Schwant, chat. Give him a shout out. He spams too much and he gets himself banned. Give him a shout out. There he is, William Schwant. Wait, am I not subscribed? Okay, we're subscribed, chat. We're having a good time tonight. Eric Lerner, some kind of, by the way, there's Chinese written all over this. This definitely happened in China. If we don't get our asses together, Trump administration, China's going to be rolling out some Jarvis orbs, knockoff Jarvis orbs at 20% the cost. And everybody's going to be speaking Chinese because they all got Chinese little Jarvis orbs. And you know what? I'm going to buy 3. So let's pay attention.
Contamination. Problem 3, again, emerged when we look back at our data. We are using, as part of this DPF, an axial field coil, which produces a small initial axial magnetic field, which induces a spin in the plasma. Controlling that spin is vital to controlling the formation of this spinning plasmoid. Too much spin and the centrifugal energy resists compression. Too little, and you don't get the kinking that forms the plasmoid in the first place. Now, what we found was...
Holy shit-o, chat. There you go. Here's the secret to fusion. I just gave it to you in a 30-second soundbite. The secret to fusion is spin. It's spin. You want to turn the little plasma into its own self-sustaining engine. And what is an engine? Well, I just taught you electromagnetism like 2 days ago. A moving magnetic field through a coil. So let's just do this shit on the plasma level. Make it happen. Here you go. Use spin. And the secret is the right amount. We want to spin our coffee a little bit, right? We want to spin it up. But we don't want it spurting out the sides. That's a problem. Look at those plasma orbs, chat. Let's look at the plasma orbs. Let's look at the plasma orbs. Thank you, CIA. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for releasing these for us. Thank you for doing this operation that you never should have done in 1,000 years. Look at how, look how clean those plasma orbs. Look how easily they teleported that plane, chat. That is a beautiful plasma. Now, I haven't seen a lot of plasma orbs. In fact, these are the only plasma orbs I've ever seen. But I guarantee you, this gets 99 out of 100 on the quality meter. Not quite perfect sphere. Not quite perfect. I'm a harsh judge. But look at that. Look at that. Look at that trail, that laser beam trail or X-ray trail or whatever you want. You can see extending out here. Ooh, look how long that is. That is pedigree right there. That tells you Lockheed Martin. That tells you this is old school tech. Look at that beautiful look at how it spins. Look at how it spins. Look at how it rotates. But it's rotating kind of slowly, right? And it's not regular rotation. Spin your coffee. I almost guarantee you, if you study, let's get this off here. You study this spinning, look at that. You will find out how to make perfect confinement fusion. Not like a little bit of confinement. We have like a couple of microseconds. We were able to do fusion for a couple of microseconds. Dude, do you see these plasma orbs? Do you see what we're dealing with here? This is why no one can believe this shit. Because from a fusion perspective, this is like generations beyond where we're at right now. This is like Apocalypse came back from the future with his weird ass time creatures and messed up ass mutants that have like 4 powers. Like, we weren't supposed to have this. Man, beautiful crescent shape, though. Man, this last part, this is the part that always bugged me, though. You look at this, and you're like, dude, how is that real? I mean, it's there, and it's not there in one frame. Look at that. But right here, this is the part, no one ever faked this, dude. No one faked this in a million years. This is so crazy that you think this is motion blur. But you look at all the other frames, there's no motion blur. There's no motion blur at all. Not in any frame. And then suddenly in the frame right before this shit is gone, gravitational lensing. Unreal, dude. Okay, sorry. Nerding out on this. Eric Lerner, please, sir. Bring me back.
That the axial field coil, which only has a small DC current, was developing through interaction with the plasma very big oscillations. And these oscillations were hundreds of amps, much bigger than the imposed current. So we needed to get rid of those.
So here's the other, you're about to, guys, honestly, you're going to know more about fusion than like 99.999% of people ever. The secret of fusion is the instabilities. And what do they mean by instabilities? That means the interacting electromagnetic fields of the plasma eventually start piling up until the plasma explodes or it shoots out. It doesn't stay stable. That's what all of controlling plasma is. And in fact, the kink, the plasmoid, is an intentional kink. The plasmoid forms because the kink forms. Imagine your telephone cord. Remember those kinked telephone cords? Imagine how they all get wound up, but you just let it do its thing. Let nature go ahead and get wound up if you want to get wound up. And then the plasmoid forms. And then you're just trying to keep the plasmoid stable. Trying to keep it stable. That's what we're trying to do.
So in the past year, we've been working on solutions. So we started again in June.
We're just going to skip ahead a little bit so we can get to the other stuff. Here we go. We're going to 124. I think there was something else.
Developing through interaction with the plasma very big oscillations. And these oscillations were hundreds of amps in the speed, this alphane critical velocity speed limit. And that's by putting more decaborane in. To do that, we had to heat it more to generate more pressure. And just last week, we achieved a test fill to 2.1 torr, which is close to our goal of 3 torr, which we expect to achieve next month. So that's sufficient to achieve the correct peak velocity. In addition, we plan in the next experiments to increase the level of pre-ionization, a gentle current that pre-ionizes the gas and leads to a smoother breakdown and a more symmetric compression. So, of course, I had wanted to present the results of solving these problems, but as you can see from the dates, we ran out of time. So these experiments will be done in August.
So he says they've been working on these experiments, and what they were trying to do is they were, of course, trying to get the yield up. I forget what he said. There's something about there's something about using the alpha waves, which are the plasma waves, and the theory related to plasma waves, and helping to use that to work on stability. Something related to the proton boron 11 he was doing, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry, guys. Okay, whatever. Let's get to the other good stuff. Here's the main event, chat. Why you're all here. UAP Gerb versus Lue Elizondo. Everyone wants to know, Ashton, what do you think? What do you think of UAP Gerb? Well, Crash Out Ashton, villain Arc Ashton of old, would have probably said some mean things. Would have said he needs to go get some acne treatment. But you know what? That's not me anymore. That's not who I am. It's not who I represent. Now, Wholesome Chungus Ashton says, I think he's a fine young man. Well-researched. Quite well-researched in the topics of reverse UFO engineering in the United States. And the reason why I am interested in him is because he has a deep wealth of knowledge of the defense contractors and their interminglings in the topic. I don't actually even personally care. I've never even heard anybody ask him if he thinks aliens are real. And I'm not going to be the one to ask him for sure because I don't care. All I care about is Who are the people that are hiding this? If anyone wants to know what my agenda is, I will be 100% open. My agenda is getting the truth about MH370, Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. I'll do quite literally anything to the extent that will get me further towards that goal. So there you go. Straight out in the open, just like that. And I'm looking for the people responsible. The Obama administration, people in the Obama administration were responsible. They know what we did to that plane. No question, no doubt. I know Obama knows for sure. And I want to know who the people are. These people are all hiding in the shadows. All these spooks are hiding in the shadows. Nobody knows their names or who they are. I want to drag them out of the shadows into the open, including Aaron Lucas, who dared to show his little hedgehog face, chat. He said, Aaron Lucas said, I'm going to be the deputy DNI. I'm going to pick it up. And the very first thing that comes out is this guy is the main player in making sure that CIA surveillance never gets revealed to the public. Why? Well, because it's going to show shit like MH370. Imagine the ontological shock. They probably have worse skeletons in their closet than MH370. Consider this. Okay. UAP Gerb. Oops. Where you at, son? This hurts me, chat. Shout out to News Nation. Ooh, that hurt. And UAP Gerb. Here we go.
What we're starting to see now is the beginning of something you and I have known about for some time, which is a schism in ufology, a schism in the UAP community. There are those who are digging for that reverse engineering recovery program of non-human technology, and there are those who are saying, just be happy with what you've got. Be happy with the small d disclosure. Is someone trying to control the narrative?
Yes. You made a statement recently as of recording this program where you talked about allegations and rumors of a pretty high-profile person within the UAP topic being appointed at a very high level to kind of spearhead the disclosure initiative or be integral to it out of the White House or executive branch. I'm going to go ahead and take that leap, and I will be very plain here. That individual is Lue Elizondo, and he is currently...
Which one are we going with here? Boom! Gotcha, bitch. Or even this might even apply here. Anime girl, that was great. Okay. Holy shit. I thought this was gonna be some kind of lame softball interview where we just like all touch each other's pee parts and just jerk each other off. But no, okay, we're just taking shots at people right out of the gate. Well, okay, now you have my attention, good sir. Keep going, please.
Being tasked, likely has the position for a National Security Council level role, exactly what he had been looking for as the quote-unquote UAP czar. This is detrimental to the disclosure process. This is extremely concerning. Like you said, of partial disclosure, limited disclosure, we have seen this before. This takes us back to the year of 2017, in which Lue Elizondo and a cadre of other individuals under a program, an informal working group called ATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, had been working from 2009 to roll out a partial disclosure campaign at the behest of Lieutenant General and Director of National Intelligence James Clapper. Once again, we are in this situation, and it is perilous for the disclosure effort.
Bro, you're going to commercial? Whoa. Whoa, dog. Did my guy just straight up out Lue Elizondo and be like, not only was he part of it, it was part of his ATIP program where he was working as a counter intel guy? Like, that's where it fell in the purview. When James Clapper was, I don't know, over him or whatever they were, butt buddies. Oh, chat, Christmas in the summertime, in July. I just have to drink a refreshing drink after that. That was just beautiful, chat. I don't even have to say anything mean. It's great. Okay. Now, got to pause here. We're going to come back to this. There's more I want to learn from UAP Gerb tonight. Breaking news, chat. Lue Elizondo has responded. This is only like 1 day ago. Dude's responding out here. Okay, Lue, take it away, dog. I might have to put this in higher speed, though, here. Okay, well, whatever.
was brought to my attention that there was a interview done very recently on Ross Coulthard's Reality Check show under the News Nation moniker, and they had a guest on there that spoke really some incredible, outlandish claims that are 180 degrees false and they're just not factual. And so what I want to do is address that real quick. And why is that? Because
I forgot I'm Wholesome Chungus Ashton now. Okay, Lou. I mean, UAP Gerb basically just said, you know what? I got a clip for this. I've been waiting all my life for this clip. I have a relevant clip, chat. It's time to throw in a little comment like the jelly. You know, I get what you're saying about the jelly, son. I get what you're saying about the jelly, UAP Gerb. Where is it? UAP Gerb. I know what you're saying about Lue Elizondo, bro. Counter intel, bro. Counter intel, spook vibes, UFO, jerking off James Clapper in the Oval Office or some shit, Pentagon, I don't know, don't care. I know what you're saying, bro. Tell this bitch to get us some disclosure. Okay, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Lue Elizondo, please. I interrupted you, please. Tell us why it's totally not true. I can't wait for this.
in this process of disclosure, there are people out there that are trying to hijack and derail this conversation by feeding you false information. People who claim to be on the inside, who know information, they don't. And they're saying things, frankly, I can only suspect for clicks and likes. So please be careful of that. First and foremost, one of the allegations was that ATIP was a limited hangout. Well, let's not forget that in 2009, Senator Harry Reid himself, who was the chairperson for the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence for the U.S. Senate, that was his program. That was his. It paid for it with U.S. taxpayer money, and he even sent a letter in 2009, a memo, official memo, to the Deputy Secretary of Defense, Lynn, at the time. So if this was a limited hangout that was being paid by U.S. government taxpayer money, then by default you're saying that the CICI itself is a limited hangout, and by extension the U.S. Congress and even the U.S. government. So that simply doesn't.
Okay. Whose side is Lue on? Guys, which is Lue for UAP Gerb, or is he arguing against them? I honestly can't tell yet, because he basically said out. There's some lies, a whole bunch of lies are being told. You can't listen to these people who are trying to mislead you. Well, the question right there to Gerb was, is there somebody trying to control the narrative? And he said, yes, it's this guy, Lue Elizondo. He said, you're the one who's trying to control the narrative. And so far, I haven't heard anything you said that's false, including, do I think that the United States government's running limited hangouts against its own UFO thing? Yes. Yes, that's exactly actually like the core. That's like the core of our argument, Lou. I'm trying to be reasonable here, but that's essentially the core of our argument, is that I'm like actually claiming that Hal Puthoff, your boss, Hal Puthoff, I'm saying he is the legacy program. I'm saying even Tom Valone laughs when I say that all roads go back to Hal Puthoff. There's no other secret smoky man. It's him. Everybody else is dead. What are we talking about?
Doesn't make sense. It's factually not correct. It's not true. Not sure where this individual is getting their information, but they're not getting it from people who actually know. Another allegation that was made during this interview was that somehow General Clapper and I had colluded with one another to try to go ahead and create this soft disclosure, and that we were going to go ahead and manage it and control it. That is 1,000% not accurate. In fact, we never had such a conversation, and Jim Clapper and I never meant to have that conversation. So again, this is
what? Okay. Now I'm just even more convinced that his only role is to just throw monkey wrenches in the community and make sure nobody else can get there. Okay, I mean, he keeps framing like that conversation never happened. I mean, so you're not hiding advanced technology for national security purposes? That's my counter. Okay, so instead of like all these weird word games you're trying to play, let me just put it to you simple. Are you hiding super advanced technology that the United States has militarized for national security purposes? And, you know, I'm a trusting, wholesome Chungus. Look, Lauren loves me, chat. That's how wholesome a Chungus I am. However, I also have this, which concerns me. This is also a factual video.
Choose between national security and disclosure, like real national security, I will always choose national security.
Hold on. Hold on. Is this Tyler Robinson? Chat, you can't even tell who this is. This could be anybody. I mean, they have AI voices and stuff nowadays. Maybe this isn't even Lue Elizondo saying these words.
If you ask me to choose between national security and disclosure, like real national security, I will always choose national security.
Okay. So here's my problem. I've got you on video saying, if I have to choose between disclosure and national security, I'm always choosing national security. Always. Good qualifier. And guess what? Disclosure's all about national security. So I'm going with UAP Gerb. I'm going to respectfully give UAP Gerb on this particular point. But let's go. Let's move on with the video.
It's factually not correct. And the problem is that you have an individual here who is sensationalizing stuff and making stuff up, quite frankly, who has ulterior motives. That's deceiving you. And furthermore, they're getting attention on a national news network that, by the way, I respect, and that's always been a friend of disclosure, and now manipulating them and providing false information to their audience to the point where it's
So it's UAP Gerb, some online blogger. He's the one deceiving us, not you, who actually never denied the initial allegations. He never denied that he was part of some counter intel guy as part of the legacy program. Never denied it. Was asked straight up, never denied it. You're not the one misleading people. It's UAP Gerb who's misleading us. UAP Gerb is the one with the agenda, not the guy who's a counter intel spook for his whole life. You're not the one with any agendas. You're not hiding free energy and warp drives because we're using it to like teleport airplanes. Because you got asked straight up by Glenn Beck. You got asked straight up by Glenn Beck, and you dodged and squirmed harder than I've ever seen anybody squirm before. Which pretty much tells me you know. You know what we did to MH370. And you're terrified of me for the same reasons. You'll never see... And there's a little bit of jealousy in there. Do you guys taste a little jealousy in here? He's on a major platform spreading these disinformations about me. It's concerning that a major platform gave him an opportunity. This is almost like a threat. This is almost like a threat to News Nation, where he's like, if you platform the wrong people that are going to say the wrong things, which, by the way, does Lue Elizondo want to tell us what the answer to the UFO phenomenon is? Because nobody will answer it. They'll all say they don't know. They don't know. They don't know what it's all about, but unless you only listen to them, you get blackballed. If you're only listening to what I tell you to think, great. If you're not listening to what I tell you to think, if you listen to UAP Gerb or online, you're listening to online trolls for opinions? You only come to government-solicited spooks that are literally counter-intel for opinions. That's how the world works. Every single mainstream media national security consultant, what do you think those people are? It's not a real job. Okay, continue, sir.
They're like a tabloid. And I think this is problematic. If you want to know why I've always said I want to destroy ufology and replace it with something better, this is why. Because of bad actors like this, people who come out, they're just interested in clicks and likes. They're only interested in manufactured and false drama.
There's no way UAP Gerb did this for clicks and likes. What he just said there was not something he was saying for clicks and likes. And what's concerning is he says he wants to this is what he wanted to destroy. Lue Elizondo goes, this is what he wants to... What? Basically all the people telling the truth about your life while you won't answer any questions? You're the one that said you were good friends with James Clapper. James Clapper is 100% aware of MH370. Anybody hiding MH370, you can never stand on a high horse ever again for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life, dude. If it finds out you knew about that and you're making sanctimonious shit like this, saying that we have to shut down opinions, well, why don't you go on some podcasts that aren't just lobbing softballs at you, dog? Right here. Wholesome Chungus Ashton. I don't even have a mean bone in my body. My villain arc is over, Lue Elizondo. Come on my show. Come on my show on the Ashton Forbes Hard Truths podcast. I've got some great questions for you. I think we'll have a great conversation. I think we're both obviously in this just for the truth. Just trying to get the truth about 0 Point Energy. That'd be great. I got some questions about James Clapper, too. Lots of questions.
And they're going about doing things that are actually putting disclosure further back than where we are. And this is a problem. I'll share something else with you, too, another anecdote about to show you the character of this individual. Recently, as a month ago,
also, why these boomers never say their names? This is just boomer garbage TikTok slop. How do people watch this normally? This is even hard to get through now. It's like, this individual who I don't want to say their name, I don't want to give them attention. Like, oh my God, just hurt feelings, ego, all this gatekeeping behaviors. Like, they can't even help themselves with their gatekeeping behaviors. They won't say your name. What? He's not even worthy of your respect of saying your name? Like, you're saying that he's a liar? Have some balls. You have zero integrity, zero balls. Okay, sorry, chat. We're getting into the villain. Let's go back. Wholesome Chungus.
Did a function in Washington, D.C. This individual happened to be there. I didn't know who he was, but I saw a circle of people surrounding him, and they were berating him. I worried for his safety to some degree, and maybe figured he was getting picked on.
This never happened, chat. This definitely never happened. This is what? Did he just make up a story about UAP Gerb supposedly getting berated and harassed at the most recent UAP whatever they had preps rally they held? He's like, I didn't know who this individual was. He was not on my radar. It's like he's like the biggest up and coming UFO researcher, UAP Gerb, and I think he does know because I know. Lue Elizondo is like, Lue, let's just be honest. It's just you and me here, Lue. You lied about Stephen Greer and pretended like you didn't know who he was. He just straight up lied to Patrick Bet-David and pretend like he didn't know who Stephen Greer was. He was like, Stephen Greer, never heard of that name before. And then he suddenly goes out of nowhere. He's like, oh, wait, isn't that guy that he like faked that thing with those flares in this really specific article that he read? And you're like, wait, so you do know who he is. Exactly. You know exactly who he is. It's like, oh, no, it just came back to me. It's like, he always does this. It's just super gay, too. I don't know why. It's super gay high roading that these people do. When they're like, I don't know who that person is, but you know exactly who they are, and you're just pretending, and it's so obvious that you're just pretending. So doing the same thing here. It's like, oh, UAP Gerb, I've never heard of him. He's not on I'm too cool for him. But he was getting bullied, and I felt bad for him. He was getting bullied, and I looked over, and I felt bad for him. Did you do anything? No. Jesus Christ, chat. I'm trying to be nice.
Walked over and interjected, and as I pulled him away, I was told, hey, that's the guy that's been talking crap about everybody and been making things up. So I pulled him aside and I said, hey, look, these people are obviously pretty upset with you. If you have any questions in the future, here's my personal cell phone number. Now, this went against my better judgment, but I did it anyways. As you all know, I'm very open and transparent. So I said, look, if you ever have any questions, please give me a call.
This should never
happen. Obviously, he looked at me, to me, he looked like tears in his eyes. And he looked at me and said, oh, okay, sir, yes, I promise I'll do that.
Tears in his eyes, chat. He had Gerb, you had tears in your eyes and you were crying to Lue Elizondo because you got bullied so hard and Lue Elizondo came and saved you. Chat, here we go. It's time to include ourselves in this fight. This is our moment. This is our time, chat. We're rolling up the sleeves. We're taking it to the next level. Wow, that is so nice of Lue Elizondo to help poor, helpless, cowardly, pathetic UAP Gerb when he was getting bullied by all the other smart and cool kids. They were just picking on him, bullying him as kids do these days to other kids, other children who are not men. And Lue Elizondo, divine in his wisdom, came down and said, child, son, come to me, son. Do you enjoy being picked on? Picked on by the other kids who are bigger and cooler than you? No, no one does. Here, son, come be my disciple. Come learn from the ways of Lue Elizondo. I shall giveth you my personal cell phone number. Use it only for booty calls. Use it only for booty calls in the emergency situation, also where mainstream media calls you up and you need to be told what to say. I shall divine thine wisdom upon thee, young Gerb. And he just sit there and took it. And there was a tear came down his eye as he saw upon the blessed Elizondo. My goodness, dude. Unreal. Wow. Very nice of you, Elizondo. I can't believe what a good person you are. It's incredible. Great story, by the way.
And I'll make sure that I call you if I have any questions in the future, and I won't do that, and just start spewing off garbage. And I don't it's good. I appreciate that. We can be friends. I'm happy to, whether you agree with me or not, I'm happy to give you information. Just reach out to me and I can clarify stuff. Well, guess what? A month later, he goes on a network television series and starts spewing off more crap. That was completely wrong. He never called me once, right? So what kind of due diligence, investigative type skill set?
Are we still talking about what he got wrong now, or is this just sorry? When did we shift into just a hurt feelings happy hour here? We're on straight up hurt feelings now. I gave him and I saved him and I protected him and he didn't even call me. He was going out with Ross Kohler and he didn't call me before he said that I was part of the narrative control. I mean, this does kind of feel like a threat, actually. This feels like, what is this? It's like, I told you were supposed to call me before you give your unsolicited opinions to people. This reminds me of a boss I had who came after me. I'll make sure she's anonymous. Who came after me because I sent an email to somebody. They said, that was person who's not on your team. You were not solicited to send that email. It's a fucking, what are you talking about? I can email whoever I want to email in the company for any reason I want to email them. This is what this feels like. You emailed the wrong person. UAP Gerb can't say something. That wasn't even really strong criticism. I feel like that was just basically a rehashing of my live stream from like 2 weeks ago, where I just go over the timeline for Lue Elizondo's involvement. He pretty much just confirmed UAP Gerb did what we're all thinking, which is that his ATIP, ASOP, whatever, must have been security control for the UFO technology to prevent it from leaking out. Okay, anyway, does he actually even address any of these claims, like with any evidence or even any strong arguments?
Does it require just to go out and make up stuff about people, right? And this is why we were having a problem. If you want to know what's wrong with the UFO community, you have people out there, and by the way, yes, I'm addressing you, who lied, to look into.
Well, I still can't tell what the lie is. You're the one who said you're friends with James Clapper. Okay, so you didn't specifically sit down with James Clapper and plan out how to cover up the UFO thing. Nobody thinks you have that much power. Nobody thinks you have that much power. We think you're just one cog in a giant machine. That giant machine includes you, and it includes James Clapper, and your cogs were touching each other.
You're the reason why we're having this problem with disclosure. You're the reason why people don't take this topic seriously. And frankly, you should be ashamed of yourself. I know I'm ashamed for what you did. You should be.
He's trying to shame UAP Gerb. Gerb, are you going to sit there and take this? Honestly, at this point, I'm gaining a lot of respect for UAP Gerb here right now. I want to give you my analysis of the dramatic situation unfolding here. But if UAP Gerb doesn't respond to this, I am going to lose a little respect for him as a man, to be honest with you. If a man comes out and says that I'm getting bullied and that he had to come in and save me and all this other weird gay shit that definitely didn't, I hope didn't happen. If he says all this shit about me and just emasculates me in front of everybody and you don't respond in any way, shape, or form, your aura loss is, honestly, you might as well just give up. You might as well just hang him up because the aura loss is irrecoverable at that point. So we'll see, chat. Right now, I'm on the side of UAP Gerb, but hey, I have no skin in this game here. I just like to see a good dramatic fight.
Embarrassed. And the fact.
Shame on your parents, UAP Gerb. Shame on your parents for even being born. Shame on your parents for you being born, Gerb. Spreading these dastardly lies about Lue Elizondo.
that you're talking to people and claiming you have access to stuff you don't. I don't ever remember you in any of the meetings that I was at the Pentagon or at ATIP, quite frankly. In fact, if you want inside information, going to talk to somebody and saying you have an inside source.
So you were in meetings in the Pentagon and ATIP. What were those meetings about? Were they about covering up free energy? Were they about Malaysian airliners that we decided we're going to use some plasma Jarvis orbs to teleport around? So many questions.
As far as I'm concerned, that's called gossip. That's not information. And secondly,
yo, bro, make it, Lue and Elizondo, please make a video like this about me, bro. Please. What do I have to say? Do I have to defame you in order to make a video like this about me? I don't know what the requirements are for a dad video from his car. You know about MH370. Let's be super specific. The MH370 videos, you know that shit's real because you know the technology is real because you've seen the technology behind the scenes. So at bare minimum, you know those videos are real. And you're being quiet about it. And there were 239 human lives on that plane, including like 4 Americans. So when you want to come at me with your moral high ground bullshit about distorting the truth, whatever this is supposed to be, how about you address that you know we're using this technology in, let's just say, highly questionably legal operations?
I think it's also important to say that as you continue to disparage and
we're just going to keep watching because he's crashing out here, and I just want to see how this crash out ends. I guarantee you he doesn't address a single one of the claims. He never addressed any claims here. He just said it was a lie and then said refuses to talk to him, says it's a lie, refuses to talk to him, won't address any of the claims. Rinse, repeat. If you want to know how spooks operate, this is how they lie. They'll go, this person's lying about me. Okay, what are those specific claims? Well, I didn't. And then he built a straw man and says, I didn't go and plan this out with James Clapper specifically. It's like, that's not what we're claiming, though, dude.
False information. Remember, there's real consequences. There are real consequences for your actions and what you are doing.
Holy shit. This is actually like, did he have to tame this down and not get banned from YouTube? You can't just threaten people like this on YouTube, dude. Okay. Like, there are real consequences? What consequences? It's called going on a podcast and giving his opinion based on your public record.
And I would not want to be you right now, because when this all comes out that you're just BSing, I think
can I get someone to psychoanalyze this? All of this gaslighting is crazy. I wouldn't want to be you right now. This is bad for you. There are consequences, real consequences. Is he going to kill UAP Gerb, chat? If UAP Gerb dies, Lue and Elizondo is the #1 suspect, chat.
I think there's going to be a price to pay. So anyways, folks, I hope you're well.
Imagine if Netanyahu said this about Charlie Kirk right before he died, chat. If Netanyahu said this about Charlie Kirk right before he died, there's a video like this, you'd have me 100% convinced. You couldn't unconvince me that the Israelis did it. Jeez.
Didn't want to address this. I hate having to do this because all it does is goad people and more people to want to have.
He didn't have to address this. That's the crazy part. Nothing that was said is actually like new information. This didn't even need to be addressed. He decided to make this 8-minute video for no reason. That's why I find it so intriguing. Like, this rattled him, dude. This rattled him. Imagine how dad rattled he had to be to make this video.
Conversations. I'm in the middle of a drive across country. Last thing I need to do is deal with this headache. But I think it's important enough to address it and address it head on and let.
Okay, I've had enough. That's all I can do. But now that I watched this in this crash out, you realize this is the mentality of these people. Like, this person is a control freak. This person wants to control everything. They want to control the narrative. They want to control UAP Gerb. They want to control UAP Gerb's speech. They want to make sure that the perception of them is exactly what they think it is. That's called being a control freak, bro. And that's the last person I want controlling my free energy. I don't want you anywhere near it. I want you nowhere near the UFO topic. I don't trust you at all. And with that kind of mentality is the kind of mentality where you hide free energy from people because you think you're better than them. Because you think you know what's better than them than they know what's better for themselves. And that, to me, is the antithesis of all my political leanings. And hence, I'm against it. There you go. Nice. Okay. Now let's listen to UAP Gerb. Let's listen to someone useful, actually, for a second. Why? Because I was watching this. I was going through this down here, and I'm clicking through, and I'm looking at these topics, and I'm going, wow, okay. We got a few things that I want to talk about here. Attempts to control the narrative. Where are we at right now in this video? Yeah, let's just listen right here.
In 2026, everything and everyone, you realize the damage might already be dark web scan.
There are pretty heavy allegations that Lue Elizondo himself had experience within the UAP legacy programs. There hasn't been much discussion about what this role was, but this alleged role was technology protection and program protection for the programs.
But to be fair to Lue has spoken quite openly about the retrieval program, the fact that there are craft.
So let's stop. That was the core claim. I just gave it to you back to back. Initial claim, Lue Elizondo is a security element to help make sure that UFO technology does not leak out to the public. That was the core claim. Elizondo strawmanned that claim, took that claim and said, I can't argue against this, probably because it's true, and said instead, I'm going to say that he's lying and say that the claim was that I hatched a plan with James Clapper to cover up all the UFO stuff. No one believes that Lue Elizondo is high enough level to cover up all the UFO stuff. He was just somebody put in a position that he was partially covering it up. That's what we're alleging, which he never even came close to. Now you guys just watched his whole video. So, and the crazy part is he keeps doing these, I need to go talk to Chris Como on News Nation. Then he doesn't say anything. He says, you're going to address the claims. Then he doesn't address them. And then he does this video. He says, I have to address this video. And then he doesn't address it. He just says it's lies. Okay, well, what part's the lie? Be specific.
Being recovered. He's candidly admitted that Roswell was real. He's talked about the reverse engineering program. If you're accusing him of a cover-up, where's the evidence?
Well, first of all, let me just say I'm not accusing him of a cover-up. I'm relaying allegations because I don't want to get sued. And you do have to be careful of that with Lue to get sued or kind of threatened. So let me just make that clear. I'm making allegations. But
I mean, he proved him right. He proved him right. The first thing Lue Elizondo does in response to this is he repeatedly threatens UAP Gerb and News Nation, tells him he has to be careful and there's serious consequences for what he's doing. This is pretty mild, bro.
I wouldn't be so sure he's been so open on the topic of crash retrievals and reverse engineering.
So let's go back. I want to go right back.
And there he goes. I wouldn't be so sure he's been so open on crash retrievals and reverse engineering. Don't be so sure that Lue Elizondo has been so open. Sounds like someone might be watching a little Four Orbsy live stream there, eh, UAP Gerb? Exactly. Why? Because they've got one hand out and they're saying, look at these aliens. Aren't these aliens cool? Doesn't that change our perspective? But they're hiding free energy back here. They're hiding 0 point energy. They know way more about 0 point energy advancement than they've been pretending. And maybe they did get it from aliens. I don't care. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you got to believe in to get by. To me, it doesn't matter. It can just be an AI overlord for all the hell I care. Still going to work tomorrow.
To 2017. I've always been fascinated with the allegations of Tom DeLonge from Blink-182. Because
Tom DeLonge reference? Didn't Ross Coulthart promise us an interview with Tom DeLonge after McCaslin disappeared? How has Tom DeLonge been silent on General McCaslin? That's a huge red flag. If Salvatore Pais disappears and I go silent on it, I won't talk about it, I know some shit. In fact, I'm probably afraid of getting killed myself would be the number one thing I'm probably afraid of in that situation. Okay? So let me just put this out there right now, just in case, because there's a non-zero chance some craziness like this happens. I mean, generals are disappearing.
Frankly, absurd as it may sound, I think a prominent rock star has come the closest to explaining what was really going on. And he did this almost inadvertently. There were a cluster of leaked emails between Tom DeLonge and John Podesta, then working in a senior position in the White House, prior to the Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump presidential election campaign. What did those emails reveal?
Those emails essentially revealed a coordinated disclosure attempt to establish Hillary Clinton as the president to bring disclosure, albeit a limited disclosure.
Bro, is he gonna say 0 point energy? Probably not. Those emails also talk about 0 point energy, specifically the ones with Edgar Mitchell. Between Podesta and Edgar Mitchell, specifically call out 0 point energy multiple times. This has been a secret in the military and certain circles in the political circles for a very, very, very long time.
The real impetus for this was Lieutenant General at the time, Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper. James Clapper gave cover for the ATIP activity. ATIP was not a real program. ATIP was not a sub-SAP under OSAP, a special access program. ATIP was an informal working group that had no budget and was essentially only real on paper.
Oh, there it is. So this ATIP thing was only real on paper. This is why Stephen Greenstreet comes in and says, this wasn't real. There was no ATIP. It was a working group. They pull in a bunch of people that are, some of them just willing to do it for free, right? Like the way Hal Puthoff works is he's a consultant. I'm a consultant too, actually. And, you know, he'll pull in, he'll do something just to, you know, increase, just because it's interesting, or because he wants to increase his network, or because he's done work for people before, you know? So this makes sense now. And it's a good way to hide what you find, too. Yeah, it sounds more like a think tank to me. But you still need to hide this because let's say hypothetically it is aliens and we found out some alien technology. Now we suddenly start to have breakthroughs. Now suddenly the 2000s roll up and our computers get a lot more advanced. Our material science goes through the roof. Now we're starting to use this alien technology and we're starting to, you know, make AI with it. Plasma orbs, whatever the hell. You go, there has to be a huge amount of secrecy around this because other countries are going to start figuring it out.
The ATIP was a cover for several National Security Council activities. If we relay the allegations of Dave Grush on the Megyn Kelly program that...
Wait. Say it again. I didn't hear this before.
And the real impetus for this was Lieutenant General at the time, Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper. James Clapper gave cover for the ATIP activity. ATIP was not a real program. ATIP was not a sub-SAP under OSAP, a special access program. ATIP was an informal working group that had no budget and was essentially only real on paper. The ATIP was a cover for several National Security Council activities.
Right there. ATIP was cover for several National Security Council activities. Why am I doing the alarm bells? Chat. Villain Ashton might not be in retirement for very long. I'm trying my hardest right now to keep my cortisols unspiked. Let me relay it like this. The National Security Council in that time, around 2008 and 2009, would have been Obama's National Security Council. The people that teleported MH370 would have been Obama's National Security Council. When you find out and you go up far enough in terms of who would be in the know on these things, you do eventually get to the president and you wonder, well, how many people are in the loop with the president? It's the National Security Council. His National Security Council. Parts of them. And here we're saying that this was potentially ATIP, was potentially the UFO arm of the National Security Council under Obama in the same time period. This is kind of crazy. My wrath will know absolutely no bounds if it somehow turns out that this whole ATIP thing that everybody's been talking about in this UFO community for over 10 years, if they're the ones that teleported MH370, holy shit, chat. I might just go completely John Wick. I don't even know if I can contain it. I have always been under the assumption that all these different things have been independent. But like I said, there can't be anybody else. It has to be Hal Puthoff. Why is Eric Davis responding to quotes about MH370 with weird pre-canned answers about there's no legitimate footage of MH370 before it vanished? Why is he responding like that? Especially if Eric Davis might have been part of this ATIP with Hal Puthoff and the other guys. It might have actually literally been specifically Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis that helped make those orbs. Holy crap, chat. If we end up getting to the end of this road and we find out it was actually Eric Davis and Hal Puthoff and maybe Charles Chase that actually built the orbs and we just hit the nail on the head right away in the first year of the investigation, this movie is going to have a very, very crazy twist right here. Wow. So, okay. ATIP, non-zero chance they were directly involved in the MH370 operation. The timeline matches.
If we relay the allegations of Dave Grush on the Megyn Kelly program, the Judicial Watch program, and some others, Dave Grush has directly stated that James Clapper was one of the kind of central head figures for the UAP legacy program, for specifically the National Security Council's crash retrieval portfolio. So,
I mean, chat, I'm trying so hard right now not to turn into the Hulk. James Clapper was the guy. Lue Elizondo's butt buddies with him. What was Lue Elizondo's role?
So James Clapper establishing the ATIP as a cover for several National Security Council activities, appointing Lue Elizondo as the frontman for ATIP, that was a limited disclosure campaign that originated from within the legacy program Onion Layers.
So what was the motivation, though? What were they trying to do by doing a limited disclosure? Were they trying to contain what President Clinton, Hillary Clinton, would have revealed?
Yes, absolutely. I think that disclosure would have...
Yes. Yes. Now I see why Lue Elizondo is freaking out. Because he goes, well, Harry Reid is the one that made this happen. Yeah, so what? You were probably lying to Harry Reid, too. Harry Reid was probably being lied to, too. None of you were telling him about free energy bombs and warp drives. That's the secret. That's what we have revealed. We've revealed they really do have a deep, dark secret that they will defend at any cost. They will lie straight to your face, and that's how they've been able to keep it a secret. Even people at these super high levels have no idea. They have no idea at all. That's what's crazy. They're hiding it right under people's noses, and they're using their own arrogance against them. And people like this, they set up these programs to make sure that only aliens leaks out. Nothing about we have warp drives, teleportation, free energy. That never is the story.
Seeing the disclosure and presence of an extant non-human presence on this planet, but relegating that presence to anomalous signatures, 5 observables, and really a huge mystery of what...
See, that was what it is. Relegating the topic to, we don't know what it is. Relegating it to these 5 observables. Like, what is that? They come out and they're like, we discovered the 5 observables of UFOs. We're figuring this out. Dude, this is all a scam. The whole thing was a scam the whole time. That's what the MH370 video show. The MH370 video show, Hal Puthoff knows we have super advanced technology, and they're basically just breaking out the tricycle, and they're going, what's this crazy tricycle, guys? Isn't this weird? Everybody look at this. And you're like, dude, that's a tricycle. We don't care about that stupid shit. Incredible, dude.
Anomalous signatures are in our sky. There would be zero discussion of reverse engineering, zero discussion of crash retrievals, zero discussion of derivative technologies or exploited technologies. And like you...
I love this guy. Zero discussion of exploited technologies. Exactly. I should say that. They're high chat. They won't talk about exploited technologies. Boom. That's a good way to put it.
Mentioned crash retrievals in Elizondo. This can be observed perfectly with the testimony of David Grush. In June of 2023, David Grush testified before Congress about the UAP legacy program. He discussed decades of crash retrievals, reverse engineering efforts, misappropriation of funds to fund these programs. Prior to 2023, Lue Elizondo essentially did not discuss crash retrievals bar Roswell. Roswell, you can make an exception because essentially Roswell is a cultural zeitgeist event at the moment in the United States.
Because Lou said Roswell was real.
Yes.
I mean, if he's part of a cover-up, if he's trying to conceal this recovery program, why did he talk about it?
Roswell is so far in the past, it is very easy to say that the materials, programs that once existed surrounding Roswell, holdings, possible biologics, breakthroughs, are so long in the past that chain of custody is broken. You know, maybe the materials got sent to Wright-Patterson and then who knows what happened, or there had been no breakthroughs from that. Additionally, Elizondo and others could say that other high-level sources told them about Roswell and that's how they knew that. But once Dave Grush spoke about the UAP legacy program, then Elizondo started speaking about crash retrievals. And if you listen to Elizondo's testimony in 2024, he directly told Representative Nancy Mace he was and had been under a non-disclosure.
Okay, cool. So we get the point. Roswell's old. That's why they're talking about Roswell, because it's ancient history. You can see what is their motivation, what is their agenda? Protect national security. They want you talking about stupid shit like Roswell. They want you talking about, oh, this dude psychically saw this thing through a wall. Okay, how does that help me, bro? How does that help me? Because it's nonsense. It doesn't actually, even if it's true, it doesn't push us any further towards anything. It's like, what actually matters is, oh, we've engineered some warp drives. We've engineered fusion. We've engineered free energy machines that suck energy out of the vacuum. That's the stuff they're protecting. It's pretty simple to see that's exactly where the line is drawn. Exactly where the line's drawn. No wonder Lue Elizondo is freaking out. I mean, I see why.
Agreement regarding crash retrievals.
So that was effectively an explicit admission that he knew about crash retrievals.
Correct.
Okay, let's
wow.
A little bit.
I didn't realize that before.
That's not what
so you're suggesting that David Grush forced Lue Elizondo's hand?
Correct. David Grush is the type of American we need right now, spearheading disclosure. He's a man who wants to go open kimono and not hold back on disclosures. Of course,
okay, so that's bullshit, though, too. Because here's the reality. The reality is this. Even David Grush is not trying to do what we're trying to do. All these guys are protecting national. UAP Gerb just doesn't know yet, but the other shoe's going to drop for UAP Gerb, and he's going to find out that the woke disclosure people have absolutely no intention of revealing free energy. Nobody does. Everybody, once you get told it's a doomsday weapon, everybody's on board. Sorry, Goyam, no free energy for you today. Okay, let's go to a different topic here. I don't think these timestamps are correct, but I want to skip ahead a little bit. Let's go to the origins of the legacy program.
You're a very respected officer, Air Force veteran, an all-around stand-up guy that is respected by so many. He set the new standard for how the subject of UAP is discussed and how seriously it's taken and what sort of allegations need to be investigated.
It's quite incredible if what you're saying is true, because James Clapper has been presented as a pro-transparency advocate. He was presented in the Disclosure movie as somebody who's all about talking about what secret programs the US Air Force has been involved in monitoring UAPs.
So he had 3 scenes in the Age of Disclosure, which totaled under 1 minute total of screen time.
Guys, are you noticing something else about this interview? If you've done like 100 interviews, like I have, more, over 100, you realize this is scripted. Not entirely scripted, but it's planned out. They came into this with an exact plan. They were like, we're going to do this takedown of Lue Elizondo. By the way, Elizondo, are you really just going to take this, son? That little video is all you got? Sad. So they planned this whole thing out. That's why all these questions seem kind of scripted and right on top of each other, which is crazy because that means Ross Coulthart is 100% turned on Lue Elizondo. Like, we're just in the middle of this. Like, where's my crack pipe? We're just watching them just duke it out, throwing haymakers, and I'm just hitting you with a crack pipe. Ooh, this is my stuff here. I didn't know we were going to get this little reprieve from science and all this other stuff today, chat.
Important clip of which was him saying that there was a program out at Area 51 in the Nevada test site that monitored UAP. But that documentary, in a sense, almost seems like a large amnesty plea for many of the individuals within that documentary. My biggest issue here in this...
He even says Age of Disclosure is just a big amnesty plea. They're basically just like, please absolve us of our sins. Please, we've been teleporting people with airplanes and hiding free energy.
This is one of the biggest gripes I have is one of the centralized components of the documentary is discussion of the legacy program, right? First of all, there's legacy programs. It's multiple. It's not singular. But second of all, the documentary portrays the program structure as this. The CIA's Directorate of Science and Technology, DS&T, at the top.
Bro, okay. We are straight up history maxing right now. We're UFO maxing. We're UAP Gerb maxing right now. He is actually just going scorched earth on these people. I'm actually a little afraid for him, chat. They don't like people like this. They really don't like people like this. And if you're nice on top of it, and they have no way to be like, he's a meanie too, like, because Lue Elizondo's response is not going to work. I'm just telling him right now that was a bad idea. Doesn't land. This guy's just an honest, wholesome chungus, chat. You can't go after an honest, wholesome chungus. This is the kind of person they got to take out.
Deputy director of this DS&T spearheads the whole crash retrieval portfolio. Under the DS&T on equalized playing fields, according to the documentary, is the Department of Energy, Defense Industrial Base prime contractors, the Big Five, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, etc., and the Air Force. My problem with that starts with this, and I have many. That portfolio of programs exists, but the program manager, the director of that program set is the National Security Council, specifically elements within the covert action.
I knew he was going to drop fire, but I did not imagine this. Say that again, please, for the people. Our ears, we're old. I'm partial boomer. I have 50% boomer in me, chat, by blood. Got it tested. Say that again. What was the problem with their categories? So UAP Gerb, I was happy with their categorization. Age of disclosure says it's the CIA, the Air Force, the Department of Energy, and the defense contractors like Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, etc. Okay, I'm down with that. That's enough for me. I'm satisfied. That's enough Fed slop for me to believe. But no, UAP Gerb says, you believed the Fed slop? He says there's more. It's deeper.
Is the Department of Energy, Defense Industrial Base prime contractors, the Big Five, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, etc., and the Air Force. My problem with that starts with this, and I have many. That portfolio of programs exists, but the program manager, the director of that program set is the National Security Council, specifically elements within the covert activities oversight structure of the NSC. Why?
Covert operations of the National Security Council is where they're hiding it. That's where it's hidden. That works perfectly. That works fucking perfectly, because that explains the MH370 videos exactly. Why are we running this weird-ass orb operation in some kind of China, U.S., hiding the engineers, schizo shit going on with fire? Because we got libtards in the National Security Council who think they're gods. It kind of just explains everything, doesn't it? Why am I wearing a mask outside? People are telling me I can get people sick when I'm not sick. Because libtards are in charge. Pretty much what everything boils down to in this day and age. You just heard Lue Elizondo crash out, not deny anything, for 8 minutes straight. You want that person in charge of your UFO technology, and you're wondering why it's being misused? You're wondering why nothing's getting done? You're wondering why we don't have it? Libtards, chat. Simple.
Why was that not displayed in the documentary? It's because to protect individuals like Clapper and other National Security Council interests.
You know what I have trouble understanding?
So
obviously,
they specifically left that out in the documentary? That is really damning. That's the equivalent of Candace Owens leaving out the assassin assembling the rifle on the roof. That's the equivalent, the moral equivalent right here. Forgot to say the National Security Council actually runs it all. Holy crap.
National Security Council is an executive arm of government that operates under the aegis of the current administration under each president. But there's a large cadre of people who kind of survive on into other presidencies. You're suggesting that the root of the power, if you like, of the legacy program is that high up in the administration.
That's correct. And if you'd like, we could go all the way back to 1947 and kind of explain how that came to be and how that shifted. Awesome.
No, I don't want to go all the way back. This is obviously scripted. However, wow, that explains it all. The National Security Council is the one holding the keys, right? You had to wonder, holding the reins. You had to wonder, who's actually holding the reins on this? Like, how does this actually work in our government structure? There can't just be some DOE guy that's like secretly God. No, there's still structure and everything. Those employees feed back up to the president, and they feed up to the president through the National Security Council. This is why Marco Rubio went totally silent, by the way. Marco Rubio is probably like the top of the National Security Council with Obama. I don't know that as a fact, or with Trump. I don't know as a fact, but you get the point. Marco Rubio gets brought on the inside. You don't talk about this shit anymore. You don't talk about this anymore, dude. Okay, let's skip ahead. Let's go watch the clip that JK Philly fan was talking about. 33, somewhere in here.
mainly out of the National Security Council, started in 1978.
Okay, here we go. We're definitely listening to this. Let's go back.
President Nixon, the control group was still in the 303 committee at this time.
So I've been told, and I want to hear your response to this, that under Nixon, a decision was made to divest from government control of a lot of the reverse engine, the retrieved technology, that a decision was made.
I'm already 100%. I'm team UAP Gerb, chat. Get me the shirt, chat. Team UAP Gerb all the time, every day, twice on Sunday in this war. Not that it was even much of a battle or a war, but Wholesome Chungus here has won me over. He's won me over. He's already said enough truth that I'll believe anything he says. I'll follow him off the cliff if he wants. Anybody tries to shame UAP Gerb, you try to shame him, you're going to have to go through me first. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us autistic, weirdo, perpetually online people, chat. We're here coming for you. Lue Elizondo, you mess with the wrong Redditor. This Redditor has protection. You thought you could just mess around with any Redditor. You thought you were the king of the block on Reddit, didn't you, Lue Elizondo? Nuh-uh, this one's with me. He's got our support. Sorry.
We had to take this out of the control of government departments as much as possible and put it into the hands of trusted private aerospace companies where it could be better hidden.
This is interesting because I think this is a subject where you and I might differ on. So this would be something really interesting to kind of explore and bite into. I think that snowballing effect of divesting the program mainly out of the National Security Council started in 1978. This was President Carter's Executive Order 12603. I might need to be fact-checked on that, but it was foreign intelligence activities in 1978. I'm blanking on the exact executive order number. And essentially this required National Security Council covert activities to report to an oversight body for the first time ever. So this was a huge clampdown on type of covert operations, wet works, actions the US government doesn't want to be associated with. This was a huge clampdown on it.
Okay, so we clamped down the keys to the orbs and the super advanced technology, and we put it under the National Security Council. And it was connected directly, and still is to this day, to covert operations. So we are using this alien technology in covert operations. So this is probably why dude who killed Osama bin Laden, Robert J. O'Neill, probably why he knows. It's not that he knew about MH370 exactly. He's just been on operations where we're using alien technology, and he's like, what the fuck is that? And they're like, don't ask any questions. And the special operators are all trained that, like, you see some alien tech, you don't say anything. No, you don't ask any questions, right? Don't ask, don't tell.
This culminated in 1982 to 1985 with Executive Order 12356, National Security Decision Memorandum 159, and the revelations of the Yellow Fruit Unacknowledged Special Access Program. The Iran-Contra in 1986 gets all the attention for huge scandals in the U.S. Armed Forces at the time. But the real interesting thing is Yellow Fruit. Yellow Fruit was an Army Special Operations Division, SOD. It was Army SOD's support of Nicaraguan Contras as well as other classified operations for the U.S. Army. This featured a staged retirement from one of the individuals there, Lieutenant Colonel Duncan, to then go form his own shell company and conduct Yellow Fruit operations through that shell company. That caused a massive scandal within the U.S. because that was found out through incidental standard audits. This forced the program to get creative and to start utilizing cover offices, cover programs. One of the best examples can be seen under Edward C. Aldrich, who was Secretary of the Air Force and Director of the NRO. He took what were called outside activities.
Okay, so I think we already know. Let's see. What else do we want to take a look at? Authenticity of the MJ-12. Let's listen to this origins
Very
of legacy
respected
program.
officer, Air Force veteran, an all-around stand-up guy that is respected by so many. He set the new standard for how the subject of UAP is discussed and how seriously it's taken and what sort of allegations need to be investigated.
It's quite incredible if what you're saying is true, because James Clapper has been presented.
We are why are these timestamps all messed up?
For activities oversight structure of the NSC. Why was that not displayed in the documentary? It's
okay, so that's the age
crash.
Of, hold on, maybe we can figure out where it actually is. If I like 21 minutes age of disclosure. Yeah, okay, so it's off by like 3 minutes or something like that. Okay, here we go.
The Department of Defense unifying the armed forces. This created the National Security Council. This
okay,
created
here we go. Here, history time, chat.
UAP.
As far back as the late 19th century, I think.
Yeah, a lot of the time in maritime settings too. So, in Age of Disclosure, where's the Office of Naval Intelligence? Where's the ONI? But 1947 started to kickstart this national effort. Part of the reason, in my guess, is the recovery of biologics. I think that may have been a sort of a new thing. Magenta was an unmanned craft. Maybe this was the first retrieval that had biological entities recovered. Shortly after Roswell, we saw the creation of the National Security Act of 1947 under President Harry Truman. This created the Department of Defense, unifying the armed forces. This created the National Security Council. This created the CIA, and so on. This was kind of the...
So this is what I want to know. 1947 also created the National Security Council. So now we've got a good history lesson here. And we're going to skip ahead a little bit, but if you look at this now, you can say, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. National Security Council holds the reins. CIA, Department of Energy, Air Force, defense contractors, they support it. They support the actions. All of this is properly classified. Remember these words, properly classified. He just listed off those classification codes. They made it so this is all legal. That's the problem. All this is legal. It's like written into the PEDs and all these other documents. These are the reasons why we can't get any access to this and why it's so hard to get it out. Because this isn't all about aliens. This is all about free energy technologies that the United States government is using. Okay. So let's move up to this part. Manhattan Project 2.0.
Walter Bedell Smith was a replacement for Forrestal after Forrestal's untimely death. There is also in the Truman Library a meeting with General Walter Bedell Smith the same day. The Eisenhower briefing document also states that he was brought into the Majestic 12 program.
So that was like the first murder, if you like.
It could have been. I think Forrestal, it's claimed that Forrestal grew increasingly mad and depressed and decided to
fiction to the UFO subject.
I think it's maybe partial. I just think the agency, the CIA at the time, had quite a few reasons to try to ice or erase or subject Mr. Kennedy to wet works operations.
But fundamentally, that's what fascinates me about this whole story. People talk about, why are you interested in this arcane subject of UAPs? It's at the heart.
Yeah, that is interesting. So he was asked about JFK, right? He was asked about, is JFK killed for this? He's like, there's a lot of reasons why JFK might have been killed. But he was saying, too, this MJ-12, that they would have been wet working people. You hear wet works, it basically means they're going to kill you. They're going to take you out. And they don't do that as much anymore because it's too hard. There's too much forensics, DNA, all this other stuff. Instead, they discredit you. Instead, they do what Lue and Elizondo did and say, this person should be shamed. This person should not be allowed on podcasts.
Of post-war American democracy.
Right. Because you have the Manhattan Project end with the ending of World War II. You have the Atomic Energy Commission kind of taking over responsibilities of nuclear weapons and the 1946 Atomic Energy Agreement. As soon as World War II ends with Roswell and the creation of the UAP Legacy Program, you essentially see the Manhattan Project 2.0. And it is a fascinating missing chapter of American history.
And it's been suppressed now for over 80 years. That's the incredible thing about this.
Okay, so that wasn't like too much.
And I think David Grush said this on Joe Rogan, but he said he wasn't admonishing presidents, senior statesmen.
These guys haven't even connected the first Manhattan Project to UFOs yet. How about what are UFOs? They're based on nuclear physics, nuclear technology, tapping into 0-point energy. Okay, let's move up to Let's go down to this part. Raining in somewhere in here. We're gonna watch. So probably around 42.
Completely break away from oversight structure of unlimited resources, unlimited money, with hiding truly incredible secrets and truly still to this day, there's a National Security Council element of the program and that James Clapper. But there have been really interesting massaging of special access programs and covert national programs to make these programs legal, but completely free of oversight. You know, that's one of the concerns that a lot of people bring up, is that the legacy program itself is completely illegal. I disagree. I think the legacy programs, I think they do illegal things, kill people, steal money, do horrible white and blue collar crimes. But I think the programs are just gray areas of legitimate national security carve-out special programs.
Well, as Dr. Eric Davis revealed.
I mean, I just said that, never even watched that part of the clip before. Just said that. There's UAP Gerb saying the same thing. Why? Because it's true. The only way this is even possible, the only way they could keep the secrecy is this is all classified legally. We may disagree on the legality of it, and they know that. They know we're going to disagree on the legality of it. That's what they're terrified of. That's why they're terrified of it coming out, is because they know we're not going to see their justifications as being justified.
If you can create what's called a PED, these emergency action directives, or whatever you call them, if that's legal.
Ross Coulthart just seems like this is the conversation Ross Coulthart probably should have had with me like 2 years ago. Right, about MH370. Instead, he was too much of a boomer idiot. He still sounds kind of like a boomer. If you can create these PEDs, the Presidential Emergency Action Documents, the PEDs, is basically the holy grail of what can we do during nuclear holocaust. That's definitely where they're hiding the UFO technology. How did they break out the UFO technology on MH370? It's probably written into the PEDs. Oh, these people are trying to steal our technology, therefore we're allowed to hit them with the plasma orbs. Something like that. I'm just guessing.
The president, the implications are that a president from 1952 could commit a pattern of secrecy that persists to this day that means that current presidents don't get briefed into the secret.
Right. And let's get real specific on how this can be done too, because you can analyze how exactly this is done. Let's say you have a White House special access program, a White House app that is, executed by the National Security Council. If this has to do with UFO legacy programs, this is probably a covert action program. Within National Security Council covert activity oversight, there are such things called covert action programs. 50 U.S. Code 3093. This is assassinations. This is, again, stuff the U.S. doesn't want to be traced back to. White House or special access programs of the DoD are adherent to 10 U.S. Code or Title 10 U.S. Code 119.
I think he just told, stop, pause. I think he just told us what we did to MH370. We had to set up one of these programs. I need to go back like 30 seconds.
You can analyze how exactly this is done. Let's say you have a White House special access program, a White House app that is, executed by the National Security Council. If this has to do with UFO legacy programs, this is probably a covert action program.
So they make a covert action program, special access program.
Within National Security Council covert activity oversight, there are such things called covert action programs. 50 U.S. Code 3093. This is assassinations. This is, again, stuff the U.S. doesn't want to be traced back to.
Things the U.S. doesn't want to be traced back to. That would definitely apply MH370. Definitely. Oh.
White House or special access programs of the DoD are adherent to 10 U.S. Code or Title 10 U.S. Code 119. So you have a covert action White House covert action special access program. If the National Security Council can make this covert action program non-covert, this waives any sort of reporting or security or carve-out requirements for the program. And this can be done by making the special access program content only.
Okay, I get.
Okay, so that was pretty nerdy, but I like it. This is the content I need. This is how we expose the spooks. This may be the thing I like the least, but I still enjoy. I find it interesting. But learning the inner workings of the CIA, of these little spooky operations, the little special access programs, all this stuff, that's where they're hiding this stuff, and we have to become experts on it, like UAP Gerb is here.
What you're telling me? It's all too bloody hard.
Okay.
What do we do? Pack up and go home? Or do we still get President Gerb to try and find a way through this morass? Help me through it.
Okay, back to where do we look? I think what needs to be done in an overall disclosure effort is to first bring the legacy program structure back under oversight channels.
How do we do that?
I think you need to treat this as a criminal investigation and find enough sources with credible, tangible information to kind of flip on their mob bosses. I think.
Yes. To all the 660 people. That's exactly what we need to do. Put this motherfucker in charge, chat. Does UAP Gerb need a bouncer? Does he need security? Look at these muscles, chat. Oh, man, I'm ready. We need to treat this like a criminal investigation. We need to be looking at this like these people are stealing money. They're never going to tell the truth because they're going to be implicated if they tell the truth. And we need to start getting people to start flipping. We start talking about these amnesty. No amnesty, bro. No amnesty. This is how the deal works. First person to come talk and bring me the alien body or the 0-point energy Jarvis orb, you get partial immunity. You get to live. You get to live. Everybody else who lies about it, sorry, bro. It's going to be a early exit for you from this reality, from this simulation. That's how this plays out. If we just go ahead and say, we're going to execute everybody who is hiding the UFO technologies from us. We're going to basically say you're a traitor to America for hiding and embezzling funds from the taxpayers. We're going to execute all those people. And if you want to live, you better start running to the nearest government office to start telling us exactly what you know and where we can find the proof. That's it. Simple as that. Because if we find out later on that you were part of this when the documents do get declassified in the future, which they will eventually, then we're going to take everything from you. And if you're dead, we're going to take everything from your children. Is that pretty simple? Is that pretty fair? It's called reparations. You know what? I was never really all about reparations. Suddenly, I love the idea. Suddenly, when I find out there's people embezzling my taxpayer money for 80 years, while me and my father and my grandfather have been killing ourselves working for no reason, slaving away in this capitalist society where they're hiding free energy, I want some reparations. I want reparations for my grandfather too, chat. He fought in a war for no reason we shouldn't even been fighting in.
You need to flip enough mid-level guys to be able to compel individuals like Terry Phillips, other pretty evil individuals at Northrop Grumman as well, and other institutions to kind of trade up on their boss. And you need to offer these legacy program seniors the carrot or the stick. You can work for us under a new administration, or you get the stick.
The problem I have with that is...
I like this guy, chat. Exactly. You didn't like the carrot? Okay, then you're getting the stick, son. We can do it either way. I personally don't care which way you want to do it. We can do it the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. Honestly, put UAP Gerb in the UAP czar role. Why has this not already been done? How old? He's old enough, right? Was he 22? Who cares? I don't give a shit how old he is. New UAP Gerb is the UAP czar. Boop! I have declared it. 4 Orbs has declared it. We don't even need a UAP czar, so he can just be it. Here you go. Free title.
I know, because I've spoken to people who've given evidence, I won't name them and we'll embarrass them here. I know that names, locations, specific rooms in particular buildings have been highlighted as places where you need to go, because you could kill this one with one moment. Kick a door in and find a flying saucer. And what the hell is this? And why haven't you? What I worry about
of the Air Force, that is a very senior mob boss within the program structure. Somebody should ask Lue.
Okay. I need to hear this part right here. Ready?
Right, and that's why I really need to praise the work of Representative Burleson. Of course, he has David Grush working for him, for actually starting to act on the legal interrogatives and so forth. Hopefully, there is a full committee set up within the House that can activate subpoena power and pursue this, because there are names of people. I'll give an example here, like Steve Cantrell, who's the special assistant to the Deputy Undersecretary of the Air Force.
Wait, sorry, you're going so fast. Steve Cantrell? Okay, where are these names coming from, chat? How is he getting these names? Where is there a secret list of spook names that I'm supposed to know about so that I can just expose them? Because if you've got a secret list, please share it with the class, my bro. Steve Cantrell. Okay, I'm furiously taking notes here.
That is a very senior mob boss within the program structure. Somebody should ask Lue if he knows him. That needs to be subpoenaed or compelled to give testimony. Steve Cantrell and a ton of other individuals that have yet to be subpoenaed or called in for questioning.
But are you getting the same impression that I'm getting, that there's just not the political will in the Congress? I mean, I appreciate there are good people in the UAP caucus, Eric Burleson among them, Representative Anna Pause for the entire national security.
Okay. 2023, who has a wealth of knowledge, but still a massive failure to act.
And I mean, for a large part of the current Trump administration, Marco Rubio has been the acting national security director. Right. So presumably he's had full control over the entire...
Don't you say one mean word about my boy, chat. Marco Rubio used to just be some guy spittling up water, couldn't stop drinking the water bottle, dunked on by Donald Trump. Now he's in the highest positions of national security in our government. The glow up, the aura gain, never before seen. Never before seen. I'm already voting for Marco Rubio in 2028. The J.D. Vance people are pissed at me already. We haven't even gotten close to that time yet. Why? Because I'm going to go with the guy that I trust with some plasma Jarvis orbs. 99 out of 100 times, especially when the alternative is some Peter Thiel mutant Palantir guy. Those are my options. I hope you can appreciate the niceness that I'm putting on everything today, chat.
National Security Council. You're telling me that there are people inside the National Security Council who are operating covert programs that are part of this legacy program. Doesn't he have the power to mandate that those people come forward and say who they are?
Not necessarily.
Didn't I just say this? Didn't I just say Marco Rubio's on the National Security Council? That's why he's not talking, because the secret's not about aliens. It's about crazy technology we use in covert operations. I just said this, and now Ross Kohler's like, wait, but not Marco Rubio's on the National Security Council. Couldn't he just come out and tell the truth? Dude, a lot of people could have come out and told the truth a long time ago. The question you should be wondering is, why aren't they? Why isn't Marco Rubio coming out and being like, hey, guys, you were right. Here's the aliens. I was saying it before this. Marco Rubio is one of the guys promoting it for them, like right before he was in office. Don't you wonder why? Come on, guys. Think about it. Oh, because we have the technology, we're using it in covert operations, and it breaks national security to reveal our technologies publicly. Whoa, we got there, guys. We got there. I believe in you. You're all very smart, and you can understand this, and you're all going to become great individuals, chat. Especially the haters. Especially the haters.
Remember PEDS and covert activities oversight. Covert activities oversight within the National Security Council is like a complete subset to the National Security Council.
Totally screwball. So we have a situation where even the people running the country...
Covert oversight is a completely separate part of the National Security Council. That's who we need to find. Whoever was in charge of the covert oversight in the National Security Council during the Obama administration, they are responsible for MH370. They know, no question.
Don't have the power to ask for the information.
Honestly, it's kind of crazy that we're even getting this far. I never dreamed of a million years we'd be saying, here's the people in the National Security Council with the secret alien orb technology and the teleportation technology, and these are the people responsible for what they did in those videos to MH370. Like, we're honing in, guys.
That's correct. Temporary employees.
But in the event of a nuclear war, let's talk about one of the things that JFK was most concerned about. He was concerned about the risk of confusion caused by UAPs. And it's written down in strategic arms limitation treaties that there is an agreement about UFOs. Each side will consult the other.
Okay,
it was recognized officially
we're gonna
in
listen to this
treaty
for the last couple
documents
minutes,
between
then
the
we're done for
Soviets
tonight, guys.
and the Americans that UFOs were an issue. This needed to be acknowledged, and they needed to create ways of interdicting, reporting those sightings so that neither side thought the other was attacking. From what you're saying to me, it's pointless for a president to try and do something about that because there are people, faceless people, who are making decisions inside the national security state that they have no right to know about this information.
Faceless people, career senior executive officials, but brave men like Dave Grush and others know who these people are.
Wow. So there you have it. There's faceless bureaucrats that are controlling all this. Higher level than the president, or at least on par, that are in defense contractor positions, government positions, and they've been able to legally gatekeep this because they've got some documents that say it's all legal. Crazy, chat. And this all probably predates any of us by like a generation.
I had dinner recently with a former...
Okay, you ready for this? Guys, you are... I hope you're ready for this. Here we go. This is the final thing for tonight.
Who these people are.
I had dinner recently with a former very senior Defense Department official who should know. They said to me, they should know. If this is true, they should know. And they said to me, give me some evidence. Prove it. You know, at the moment, this is all hearsay. And part of the problem, I think, is even the people who haven't been briefed in find it hard to believe that there could possibly be a secret like this kept inside a country like America where, let's be cynical about it, everything leaks.
You don't say, chat. Even the people, I'm trying so hard, I gotta be wholesome. Even the people that are the ones that are in positions to know, even the people that have spent their whole lives trying to tell people that the aliens are visiting us, how'd they get here? Even those people don't believe that we have this technology. You wonder why MH370 is so easily covered up. You wonder why this technology is so easily covered up. I'll tell you why. Because even when you show these people, who are out here doing a whole interview about how it works, even they don't recognize it when they see it. Even they don't recognize the very thing they're talking about that they are experts on. They don't recognize it when they see it on 2 military videos. You say, Ashton, how do you hide this? Well, I just explained it to you. If the very experts, the leading experts in the field of UFOs, don't even recognize the UFO technology when they see it leaked, what chance did we ever have? What chance did we ever have of figuring this out? The irony right here is just off the charts. I guarantee if you were to ask these guys, both of them are going to say the MH370 videos are VFX. Dude, they kind of prove everything that you're saying here down to a T. I told these people 3 years ago, I'm handing them disclosure on a silver platter. And they spit on me, chat. They spit on me. Wholesome Chungus, and they spit all over me. And now they demand I be nice to them after they spit all over me and ignored me, and they want to come in and swoop the narrative and be like, we're the ones that just figured this out. Sure, buddy.
Edward Snowden leaked the crown jewels of the CIA. Some guy in an IT department somewhere in an Air Force base might see these UFO files. Surely to God, they would have leaked by now.
Right, that's what Obama said.
Surely, man, they would have leaked by now, bro. If there was any secret alien technology, they would have leaked. You would have recognized it. Except for it did happen. Edward Lin leaked these videos. I'm going to pull up on the screen right now. You can't even make this up. These guys are going, it would have leaked. They would have seen it, guys. Oh, what are they? Yeah, like these videos right here that are perfectly in sync with each other. Literally perfectly in sync. 2 perfectly in sync videos of an operation, exactly what those guys just described, under the purview of the exact people that they just said are in charge. 2 videos. They don't recognize it. This is your whole legacy program. This is your whole James Clapper, Obama. This might even be the whole ATIP thing going on right here, too. We exposed all of it. And these guys don't even recognize it when they see it with their own eyes. And they're trying to talk down to some national security guy who doesn't want to tell them. I guarantee you they're lying about this technology. I guarantee you they're lying about it. How do I know? Because I'm looking at plasma Jarvis orbs like 1,000 years beyond where we're supposed to be right now. So I know they're lying for sure. And I know people know. Yeah, 239 people, man. Not cool. Okay, let's let UAP Gerb finish his thought.
That if there were truly aliens in U.S. captivity, one of the guards would have taken a selfie with one of the aliens. I think that's nonsense. I think the U.S. is very good at keeping secrets, especially when it comes to imperative national security techniques, knowledge, or procedures. And I think the UFO legacy program is the greatest example of history kept in United States history. And also, there's a very traceable lineage of how the program portfolio kind of compounded or exponentially increased in secrecy in restrictive briefings. And I just think that the program learned some hard lessons over time, like a 4-star general rightfully using his authority to force a read on into the programs, that the legacy program learned from that to make sure mistakes like that never happen again. And the legacy program has essentially made itself ironclad, but also this has leaked over time. It's leaked time and time and time again. It's leaked for decades, but people don't take it seriously because of the stigma around the topic that has been seen in the 1953 Robertson panel, 1969 Condon Committee, and 2022's Arrow.
So how crazy is that? It has leaked, but people don't take it seriously. They don't take it seriously because of the stigma. And then here I go, okay, I found these 2 videos on the internet. Edward C. Lin leaked them specifically. Specifically, Edward C. Lin leaked those videos I just showed you. I'm telling you exactly who leaked them. I'm telling you exactly whose case file you have to get. And they just go, no. They say no. I'm like, you don't have to do anything else. Just spend one tiny amount of effort to try to look at the classified information in Edward Lin's case file. It's the MH370 videos. That's what he leaked. I'm telling you this. All you have to do to prove all of this is just get his case file declassified. Nope. Anybody not interested in getting Edward Lin's case file declassified? I'm not interested in your opinion on UFOs. You're obviously not trying to get to the truth. If like the simplest thing, I've done all the hard work. I've figured out exactly who the guy is that you need to talk to. I've figured out where, even if he doesn't talk, even if they kill him, his court documents already have the information in them. It's just classified. All we have to do is get it declassified. That's it. All we have to do is look. I've done all the hard work. All you have to do is go look. Whole UFO topic blown wide open. Simple as that. Okay, guys, we're going to go to the super chats. It's been a long live stream, and I don't really feel like doing any more tonight. So, first of all, thank you very much in the Rumble chat. I saw Good Rex. Good Rex, nice to see you back in the Rumble chat. Said, move over, Bill Nye. There's a new science guy in town. Ashton, why are you making Masonic hand signs in the video picture, in the thumbnail? That was just AI, dude. Was it this one? I don't know. I don't do Masonic hand signs. I know better, chat. I know better. I know my conspiratards out there. I respect you. I was just lazy, and I had the AI do whatever. It was just my normal pick, guys. Okay. Pilled chat. Shout out to my boys in the Pilled chat. Thank you, TSC. I appreciate you, man, and everybody else in the Pilled chat for hanging out. And then our super chats. My channel says, we get it. You low-key have a Candace crush. Nah, guys. I was just the first person who called all that shit out back on, like, September 11th of last year. And I let it go for a while because I knew it was going to lead to a train wreck. And there's no reason to be, to rile people up for no reason. But now the train wreck has arrived. The train wreck has come into the station. And I'm going to throw a few haymakers onto the conspiratards that were trying to put me down. Our credibility has never been higher, by the way, because of this. So you can thank me later when people actually take MH370 seriously. Because if I had gone down the rabbit hole of the stupid Israel killed Charlie Kirk stuff, then we would have set ourselves back another 5 or 10 years. So had to avoid it. Got to pick your battles. Indeed. Thank you, my channel. It says VA works for our greatest ally. Oh, Jesus. Are we already starting? We're already starting the roundabout. Ashton works for Israel. Okay, man. Mick Leonard JD says, Lou will always get his pension. Great show. And here's the other sad final thought. For a lot of these guys, they're desperate for money. They're trying to get their pension. They don't want to lose their pension. That's their income for their retirement. That's their income for their families. And they're trying to get a little extra income. And you know what? We really should not put them down. I don't think you should call Lue Elizondo a grifter. Why? Because these people aren't making millions. If they were making millions, they wouldn't have to do any of this shit anymore, and they wouldn't. I probably wouldn't either, to be honest with you. Because it's dangerous. It's risky. There's basically no benefit. Nobody believes you anyway. So don't attack him for being a grifter. The guy has a right to sell his story. He has a right to sell a book if he wants, anything he wants. Attack him because he covered up UFOs. Attack him because he's hiding free energy still right now today. Still hiding it, claiming that he has an NDA and he can't talk about it. Okay, well then become a whistleblower and break your NDA. People will support you. Oh, no, you don't want to do that? Then I'm not interested. Last super chat, Crackhead330 says they talk about you at the end of the Gerb Ross video. Oh, they don't talk about me at the end of the video. I forgot. I do need to play this, though. Thank you for reminding me. Imagine if they actually spoke about me at the end of the video. That would be funny. Wait, do they? Someone check. Hold on. Let's go back. No, this is a clip I want to play from the end. Or, like, I guess a preview for the next one. Where is it? Here it is. Ready for this? Bum, bum, bum. Your moment of zen, chat. There's going to be a round 2, apparently. Buckle up.
I know it's true that civilian aircraft have been inadvertently brought down by electromagnetic pulse weapons.
An aircraft flies into a temporary flight restrictive zone, TFR, and is haphazardly hit, and individuals are killed. I have been exposed to that information as well.
I know it's true.
Boom, there it is, chat. What civilian airliner was brought down by an EMP? What civilian airliner was brought down by an EMP? That's a really weird question to be asking somebody, especially in the context of the MH370 videos existing. Very odd. So we're going to be checking that out on the follow-up. We'll see. They're going to have to dodge around the MH370 videos and us, if that's the case, and that is what the topic is. One last super chat. Zapparai, fantastic Ashton. 4 orbs, 100%. As Mark Twain said, no amount of evidence will ever persuade an idiot. Exactly. No amount of evidence will ever persuade an idiot, and you can't convince somebody of something that their paycheck depends on them not understanding. You're never going to convince Lue Elizondo to tell the truth about free energy because his pension depends on him never telling the truth about it. So it is what it is, guys. MH370, I love you guys. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. We'll be back on Friday, probably with a free energy live stream, but we'll see. Peace out, everyone. Later. We're going to go with this one.
Infrared eyes, scanning the black, tracking the heat, never turning back. Control 22, a covert gaze. Control 33, in the cosmic maze. Controls in the mix, secrets untold. Silent watchers, brave and bold. In the shadows, they silently glide, protecting our interests, far and wide. As Pierce, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. In the silence of space, they keep their post, shields unseen yet feared the most. With precision and speed, they warn of danger, keeping us safe from the missile's anger. As Beers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. And roles in the mix, secrets untold, silent watchers, brave and bold. In the shadows, they silently glide, protecting our interests, far and wide. As Beers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. As Beers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to